Okay, I want to welcome you to The Mighty Few. This is episode 4. I hope you're doing amazing out there. Today, I want to talk to you about copywriting. All right, let me give you a brief disclaimer before I get into this. I don't consider myself a copywriter. Okay, I don't consider myself a sales page copywriter. I don't consider myself a direct mail copywriter. I don't even consider myself an email copywriter, even though people have bestowed that label upon me here and there. I am just the guy who has to convert his offers. That's me. I'm just the guy who converts his offers. Okay. Um, I generally try to send warm traffic to my sales pages, and generally I look for a conversion rate above 10%. And if I can do above 10%, I'm happy. I'm happy. And I'm talking about a front end offer here. If I'm above 10% on the front end, I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. I feel like I'm not wasting my traffic if I'm doing that. And I, for the most part, am fairly successful at doing that. So if you have an email list and you have decent warm traffic, and you're not converting it above 10%, then you might want to listen to what I have to say. It might be able to help you. And if you feel like you do way better than that already, maybe you can just disregard everything I have to tell you. Again, I don't consider myself a copywriter whatsoever. Have I read a lot of copywriting books? Yes. Things like Ultimate Sales Letter from Dan Kennedy, I've read it. The Copywriter's Handbook from Bob Bly. Ogilvy and that breakthrough advertising. Like I've read a lot of these books on copywriting, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't know anything about copywriting. Obviously, I do. The reason I had to learn about copywriting is because I wanted my offers to convert better. Okay, so the advice that I'm going to tell you, the opinions. Well, I'm not going to call it advice. Let's call it opinions. This is the mighty few here, and we're speaking as friends. Okay, we are the mighty few. I'm sharing some insight that I have gained, with my mighty few brothers and sisters here. Okay, so my views on copywriting are probably a little bit different than if you were to talk to a copywriter. Okay, so let me just say that right there. Um, I think there are things that are more important than copywriting. Okay, when it comes to you getting sales. Okay, um, let me tell you a little bit of a story, and it'll explain what I'm getting ready to say a little bit better. So a little bit of context here. I remember doing an affiliate marketing campaign for a friend of mine's offer. This is a few years ago. Okay, this is several years ago, and his offer was it was a really good offer. Okay, it was really cool, and I didn't know that it was going to be cool. Okay, I didn't think it was going to be that cool. It was something like let me show you how to make $10 a day. All right, you'll be up and running, within, I don't know, like a week or something. I'll show you how to make $10 a day, and I didn't think that was going to convert very well. Because number one, I didn't think that was that significant of an offer. I mean, who cares about $10 a day? That's what I thought. And then, like, number two, like, his sales page was on a Google Doc. Okay, it was like the most basic sales page, very ugly, the most basic ever on a Google Doc. It wasn't even on an actual sales page. And I was like, I don't think this is going to convert very well. But you know what? I'm going to do it. I know this is a good product. This is an interesting product. It's cool. I think my email list will get value out of it. So I ran an email on it, and it converted really, really well. It converted like gangbusters. So, I did a full-blown campaign on it, and it converted like gangbusters, okay? It just converted so well. And when it was over, I was just like, I was happy that the affiliate campaign did well, but I was also puzzled. And I was like, I got to ask this guy a question. I got to know. So I said to my friend, I said, hey, listen, man, I don't mean any offense when I say this, man, but I'm puzzled why this offer converted so well. like this sales page is so ugly, dude, and I don't mean any offense to you. Like, why is this converting so well? Because it wasn't just me who's converting on this offer. Okay, a lot of people were converting on him. And he said, Cam, listen, man, it's not about the sales page, okay? It's not about the sales letter. It's not about the copy, okay? It's about the offer. The offer is the king. The offer is why it is selling so well. It's a great offer, all right? And I was like, okay, wow. And now before that, like I had spent so much time trying to get better at copy, trying to get better at like the words that I was writing on sales pages and what my sales page looked like and stuff like that. And I had a few experiences like the one that I just explained to you, enough experiences to get through this hard head of mine that it wasn't about the sales copy. It wasn't about the sales letter. It wasn't about the sales page and how fancy it looked, how many like stock images you put on your sales page or whatever. It wasn't about any of that crap, okay? It was 100% about the offer. That was the most important thing. And that was made painfully obvious to me over a series of affiliate promotions where it just kind of got beat into my hard head. So the first thing I'll tell you that's more important than sales copy, whatever your sales copy looks like, is the offer itself, right? Because man, it is pretty easy to sell a really good offer, right? Now, what makes a good offer? That's a story for another video. We can get into that another time. But today, I'm just gonna say, and there is specific criteria I think that makes a great offer. But we're not going to go there today. Today, let's focus on copywriting, okay? What a good offer, a great offer, like it supersedes like bad copy. It transcends bad copy, okay? Now great copy cannot transcend a bad offer, okay? So if you understand that basic rule of law, then you have to accept the fact that the offer is greater than the copy, okay? Fairly simple. You guys are probably with me already. That makes sense. The offer is greater than the copy. Okay, so it starts with a good offer, not with great words on your sales page. The offer is greater than the copy. So I realized another phenomenon as I was doing affiliate marketing too, and that was this phenomenon of and look, let me be fully transparent here. It wasn't just me doing affiliate offers. I did my share of flops of my own products, selling my own products that I knew were great offers, great products in my opinion, and they still flopped. And I would be running like a 4 or 7 day launch, and it wouldn't be doing that great. I wouldn't be meeting, when I say not doing that great, I mean my conversion rate wasn't at my 10% metric. I was running warm traffic, my email list traffic, and affiliate traffic, which I consider warm traffic. This affiliate traffic is warm traffic. I was running that to a sales page and I wasn't at 10%. Like to me, that's wasting traffic, okay? I hit this problem more than once. Now when that happens, the first thing I realize what I need to do is like the headline is king of the sales page, okay? The headline is king of the sales page because we're talking about on a sales page now, we're talking about when you're not meeting your conversion rates, we're talking about, yes, the offer is the king, but on the sales page, how do you convey the offer, right? Because I ran into this problem as a vendor and as an affiliate where other vendors were running into this problem where like you have a great offer, but you're not conveying it properly on the sales page. So you have to convey a great offer. Like, so the thing is, like whatever got you excited to create that offer to begin with, like you have to like be able to convey that to other people, right? In a way that makes them just as excited about it as you were. You spend all the time on the product, on the funnel, on the copy, on everything else that goes into putting out an offer. You spend all this time on it. You did it because you were excited. Okay, well, whatever exists on your sales page needs to excite other people the same way that you got excited to make this thing, right? So that's the conveyance of a great offer. And I think that when we talk about sales copy, to me, that is what's important. Conveyance of that great offer, not the tricks, not the tactics, not the bullet points. I know a lot of people believe in bullet points, and I love bullet points, okay? Don't get me wrong. I think persuasive bullets are amazing. I do. But at the end of the day, and this might be an unpopular belief, and hey, look, I'm not a copywriter, so you don't hang me at the stake, copywriters or whatever. I'm just telling you what I know from being in the trenches. Okay, selling my own products and selling other people's products. What I find is if I have a great offer and I have somebody who has conveyed that offer great on the sales page, whether it's persuasive bullets or whether it's a great headline and a great story or whatever, if they've conveyed whatever has gotten them excited to make that product, if they have conveyed that properly to where now the people looking at their sales page are also excited about this thing, then I can convert on it, right? So it's just the conveyance of that great offer. So like to me, these two things, right, are just greater than any kind of copy that you could read about or create or learn from, like this science of copy or whatever. Like to me, I just break it down into this simple thing, conveyance of a great offer. How can I convey this offer to where people are just as excited about it when they're reading the sales page as I was to create it, right? How do I pump them up like that? And that's kind of how I look at it. I think there's a lot of mistakes people make when it comes to sales pages and sales letters. One thing that I have seen people make the mistake of is spending far too much time on their VSLs. They spend all this time on their VSLs and they don't really work on a lot of other things with their sales page, And I think that you got to be careful with that. Because in my opinion, okay, and let's talk about conveyance of a sales letter. Let's talk about conveyance of a sales page really quick. In my opinion, I break down conveyance of an offer. It basically just breaks down into three parts. To me, you got the captivation element, right? You got the convincing element, and then you got the purchase, right? The purchase, and the purchase is just the buy buttons, right? Do you have a good amount of buy buttons on your sales page? Now, some people say, hey, I just need one buy button on my sales page. I don't care if it's 40 pages long on my sales page. Okay? I don't care if my sales letter is 40 pages. I'm going to have one buy button down at the bottom. My sales letter is going to be so good, they're going to just keep on scrolling down until they get to that buy button. Hey, and that's cool. That's cool. Does it work? Does the buy button work? There's no issues, right? Because I've had deals where my buy button was broken and they couldn't buy it if they wanted to. I've had issues like that before in the past. So when we talk about that third part, the purchase, it's mostly do your buy buttons work, okay? And then the second part, the convincing, okay? That's just everything you want to put in there, like the bullet points, the persuasive bullets, the story, why you're selling this thing, what problem does it solve, the features, the benefits, all this stuff right here is the convincing element. And, choose your own adventure, okay? That's what goes in the middle. However you want to cut that pie up, put all that stuff in the middle, okay? Testimonials, whatever, man. It's been years since I ran a testimonial. There's two kinds of testimonials, okay? You got the kind of testimonials that are meant to convince people that this thing works, like customer testimonials. Then you got like celebrity testimonials that are meant to kind of boost your authority a little bit, Anyways, doesn't matter. Testimonials go in there, any of that stuff. That's the convincing, right? And then the most important part, right? When we talk about conveyance of an offer, I think the most important part to me is the captivation. The captivation. So we got the captivation, we got the convincing, and we got the purchase. I talked about the purchase. I talked about the convincing. The captivation is basically everything that they see within the first 10 seconds of being on your sales page, right? First 10 seconds of a VSL, okay? What color is the thing? What is the headline, okay? And most importantly, it's the headline, okay? The headline, maybe the subhead. When people hit your sales page, that's what they look at, the headline and the subhead. And they're going to make that decision in the first 5 seconds if they want to stay there or not. And it's going to be based on the headline and the subhead. If you're lucky, 5 or 10 seconds of any kind of VSL that you have running. But generally, when we talk about the king of the sales page, it's the headline, man. The headline is the king of the sales page. So when we talk about this concept of raising our conversion rates, and we talk about this idea of conveyance of an offer, I have a great offer. How can I convey it properly? Well, you won't know for sure until you start running traffic, right? If you start running traffic and your conversion rates are in the toilet, you know you're not conveying it properly. Either you're not conveying it properly or it's not a good offer. But let's just assume it's a good offer because you were excited enough to create it. You were excited enough to put it together. So let's assume it's a good offer. So now we also have to assume you're not conveying it properly if your conversions are in the toilet. And if you want to know the best way to boost your conversions up quickly when you're in the middle of a launch is changing your headline, because your headline is the king of the sales page, okay? In my opinion. And it's all about conveyance of a great offer. How am I conveying this offer? Obviously, this headline is not making anyone excited. Not excited like I was when I decided to put a bunch of time and effort into creating this offer. How can I change it? How can I change the headline? Maybe it's too wordy, Maybe it's too wordy. Maybe it's using words that are just like people just don't connect with it. There's a bunch of words in there that, and I'm giving these examples because I've made these mistakes, okay? Maybe it's too wordy. Maybe there's too many words in there that people don't connect with. Maybe it rolls off the tongue a little bit funny. They read it and it's like, what? There's a fine line between like confusion and captivation, okay? And if you confuse someone, you kind of repulse them. And if you captivate them, you pull them in, right? And you need to pull them in. Getting someone through a sales page and getting them to click the buy button, that's a series of like pulling them in, But it's all just about conveying a great offer. I think, if you're running warm traffic, a lot of people hit your sales page kind of ready to buy something. You're talking them out of it now. They're already warm, man. They're already interested in what you have to sell. It's your job not to lose it, So now, the game is different when you're talking about cold traffic, but I'm just talking about warm traffic here. I'm saying this, and it's like I know if you made it this far in the video, you mighty few, you're probably saying to yourself, man, this is all well and good, but like, can you give me any pointers on how to convey a great offer? Okay, so here is one of the best pieces of advice I've ever received on conveying a great offer. And I believe I learned this from Eugene Schwartz, all right? Famous copywriter, the guy who wrote, Breakthrough Advertising, right? And I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something to the extent of, great copy is not seen, right? Basically, like, if you want to be seen as an author, if you want to be seen as a writer, like, go write poetry, or go write novels, or go write, memoirs or something. Get out of the business of copywriting, because copywriters are not meant to be seen, all right? So, like, He made the example of like if you copywriting is like the picture window in a gift shop, okay? Your customers are looking through the picture window at the gifts inside, the gifts, the presents, the cool stuff that you have to sell inside. That's what they're looking at, right? If they notice the window at all, you have failed, okay? If they notice the window, if there's a speck of dirt on that window, a speck of anything on that window, if it's streaked, if they notice the window at all, you have failed, okay? Copywriting, good copywriting, let me just get rid of that word copywriting. I'm not a copywriter, but let me put it in something I am good at. Conveying a good offer, okay? To convey a good offer properly, to convey a good offer, to do a good job conveying a good offer, you need to be a clear window, right? You want to be invisible, like a ninja, okay? They should not look at your sales copy and say, oh, that's a good headline. Okay, they shouldn't be saying that, all right? They shouldn't be looking at your sales copy and saying, oh, wow, I really like this VSL. You did a great job on this VSL. No, dude, that's not what... When they're looking at your sales copy, when they're looking at the headline, they should 100% be focused on the thing that they want to buy, all right? That's what it should be. They should, no one goes to a store and looks in the window and says, oh, man, I'm really impressed with this picture window, man. This is amazing. That's not what the store owner wants. He wants them to look at the stuff in the store. He wants them to look at the displays going on. It's all designed to get the customer in the store, okay? So like you are failing if they're noticing your copy. Good copy is invisible, okay? If you're conveying the offer properly, they are excited about the offer, not thinking about your coffee, not thinking about your copy. So like if you're getting emails from your customers saying, "Oh man, great job on that sales page," that's actually an insult, okay? Might as well just take it as an insult. They might be trying to be nice to you, but like it's like that scene in the Matrix, where like Morpheus tells Neo, "Hey man, stop trying to hit me and hit me." Right? They're in the dojo. They're in the virtual reality dojo. They're fighting. They're doing kung fu on each other. And Morpheus tells Neo, "Hey, stop trying to hit me and hit me." All right? It's kind of the same with this conveyance of a great offer, man. If you're conveying a great offer properly, you don't look like you're writing good sales copy. "Oh man, look at me, man. I modeled this sales letter after John Carlton, man. This is a famous sales letter. Look at me. I'm so good at doing my homework and studying the greats." Dude, none of that matters to your customers, okay? You're trying to convey an offer in a way that gets them excited about the offer. They don't care how good you are at persuasive bullets. They don't care how great you are at anything on your sales page. You need to be invisible, all right? Like a picture window, right? Like a picture window at a store. And I'm not saying it's always easy, because the thing about it is, the more educated you get on copy, the more copywriting books you read, the more tactics and tricks that you learn, the more you want to try them out, the more respect you have for these copywriters and these wizards of industry that have gone before you, the more you want to try to become a wizard of industry yourself, and you picture yourself as a famous copywriter even, so it's not always easy, but you have to remember, man, copywriters are invisible. That's why when you look at ads in magazines, there's not a signature at the bottom for the copywriter. You want to figure out who wrote what ad? You have to do some research and some homework to figure out who wrote what ad, because it's not obvious from just looking at magazines. When you watch infomercials on television, there's not a signature at the bottom for who lined up the infomercial and who directed the infomercial. We go to watch a movie like the Titanic or Alien or whatever, and we know, oh man, this is directed by such and such. This is directed by such. Oh, this is going to be a great movie. It's directed by such and such. They trumpet it. They trumpet those things, but man, they don't trumpet commercials. Okay, they don't trumpet infomercials, and they don't trumpet ads in magazines. They don't trumpet creatives in newspapers. They don't trumpet that stuff, man. Good copy is invisible. It's invisible. It's like a picture window at a store, right? So that's what I tell you, man. Try not to get too hung up on the tactics. Try not to get too hung up on all those greats who have gone before you. I'm not telling you not to study those people, because I've learned a ton off of those people. Okay, but I am telling you, you got to take all that stuff, all that cool information, and you got to figure out how to filter it through your own brain, and figure out how to use it as just fuel to convey an offer properly. Okay, because it's not about the tactics, it's not about all this crap they're talking about. It's all about, the only thing that matters is conveying that great offer greatly. That's it. That's all it's about, man. And if you can do that, you can get your conversions rates up, and you're going to do amazing. But man, I think that's kind of the Gyp of copywriting, is and it's not intentional. It's not they're trying to lie to you. It's the Gyp of copywriting, because a lot of copywriters have been kind of put on pedestals and turned into legends. So people study their work, and they feel man, if I could just do it like this guy, or I could do it like this girl, man, I'll be doing awesome. I'll be doing amazing. And I think a lot of people miss the point, man. The point is to be invisible, all right? It's not about you. It's not about how many awesome tactics you've learned. It's not about how many books on copywriting you've read. It's about being invisible and conveying the offer greatly, okay? Taking a great offer and conveying it superbly. That's all it's about, okay? And if you can do that, if you can be invisible, now you're transcending and you're becoming great. And you know what? I'm not saying all that to say that I am great. Sometimes I do it really well, and sometimes I still fall on my face. But in my opinion, and maybe this is a little non-consensus, a little controversial, I don't know, but I just don't feel like it's about the tactics, the tricks, bullet points, none of that crap. It's all about, can I convey this great offer fantastically? That's it. That's all it's about. So anyways, that's the Gyp of Copywriting. Hope this is helpful to you. I hope this is helpful to you, mighty few. Hope you're doing amazing out there. This is issue 4. If you like this one, wherever you're seeing this, man, drop me a comment. Let me know where you're watching this at. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, man. I'm trying to get my YouTube subscriber numbers up. Drop me a comment. Let me know you're live out there. If you're watching this on Substack, man, follow me on Substack. I'm hanging out there. If you're watching this on Facebook, man, I just welcome you back to the party. I just got back to Facebook. I'm back on the book, man. I'm back on Big Blue, and hopefully you are on my email list. If you're not on my email list, get on my email list. I'm at epicconversions.com, epicconversions.com, because that's where it's all going down, on my email list. So that's all I got. Hope you guys are doing amazing out there, you mighty few. I will see you in the next episode. Peace now.